Hey there, guys. It's Plunkster here, and today we're going to dive into how I, as an indie game developer, personally think Marvel Rivals has managed to carve out a unique place for itself in the hero shooter genre. Now, Marvel Rivals is a new hero shooter, but let's be honest, if you're here, you probably already know that. Whether you're a fan of Marvel or just a fan of the genre, you've likely given it a shot by now anyway. But what is it about Marvel Rivals that makes it stand out in the hero shooter genre like Overwatch and other big-budget titles? You know, the ones with flashy trailers and even flashier launch events, but somehow ended up peaking at a fraction of their expected player base? We'll get to that. But first, let me tell you a little bit about my history of gaming. I've been playing video games for over 22 years. The first game I really dove into was Age of Empires 2. For those who might not know, it's a classic real-time strategy game. Back then, I used to play with my dad over a local network, battling against AI bots. It was simple, but it hooked me instantly. And honestly, that's one of the main reasons Marvel Rivals has done so well. Because just like those old school games, it taps into something that many developers have forgotten about over the years. See, these days there's this huge focus on microtransactions, battle passes, and stretching out playtime. But Marvel Rivals doesn't push that in your face. It respects your time and keeps the UI with the psychological tricks with purchase now buttons minimal, which makes the entire experience feel more about the gameplay than about buying skins or upgrading your battle pass. Now, I'll admit, while I've never read any Marvel comics, I've seen all the movies and TV shows. Well, except for the post-Endgame stuff, because let's face it, those don't really matter all that much. But after watching all that, I had this hero fantasy in my mind. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's that moment when you imagine yourself taking control of a character and really becoming them. How would Iron Man feel to control? Or Spider-Man? How would their powers translate into a game? Marvel Rivals nails it. Every hero is designed in a way that makes you feel like you're living that fantasy. Take Iron Man, for example. When I play him, it's like they took all the best parts of his character and translated them into the game. You can fly around, shoot missiles, fire lasers. Basically, you're living out your Tony Stark dreams. And don't even get me started on Spider-Man. I've never played a Spider-Man game before, but the moment I swing around the map in Marvel Rivals, it's like I'm actually Peter Parker. I can sling webs, pull enemies in, and zip around in a way that just feels so natural. I could go on and on about each character. Believe me, I could make a whole 2-hour video just on the gameplay of each hero. But I think you get the point. Every hero is so perfectly designed to match their on-screen persona. They nailed it. Now, let's talk about Overwatch for a second. I know Overwatch has had its moment, but one of the things I never really understood was the limitations of certain characters. Take Pharah, for instance. Why can't she fly all the time in Overwatch 2? It's not like it would break the game. If anything, it could make her even more fun to play. And you could still balance the game around other heroes. After all, even a half-decent Widowmaker or Hanzo can take down Pharah in seconds. So flying all the time wouldn't make her unbalanced. It would just make her more enjoyable to play and really tap into that flying hero fantasy some of us have. But Marvel Rivals doesn't hold back like that. It lets characters like Iron Man truly feel like they should. If you're Iron Man, you get to fly and shoot all the rockets you want. It's simple, but it's that attention to detail that makes the game so appealing. One of the other things I love about Marvel Rivals is the way they've incorporated synergies, or what they call team-ups. If you play with friends, you can get bonuses depending on which heroes you choose. For example, if you've got Thor, Hela, and Loki on your team, you'll get a special synergy bonus, making the game feel more like a team-based experience rather than just a random collection of heroes. It encourages players to try new characters, too. So if you're a damage player and your buddies are tanks and healers, it's worth exploring those team-ups because you get some extra perks. Plus, it just feels good to experiment with different combinations, and it keeps things fresh. And while we're on the topic of synergies, it's worth mentioning how the competitive mode in Marvel Rivals doesn't force you into rigid metas. In other games like Overwatch, if you want to win, you're almost always expected to pick certain heroes. Marvel Rivals doesn't do that. You can mix things up based on the map and your strategy. If you need 2 tanks to push on offense, that's fine. But on defense, maybe you'll go with 3 DPS heroes and force the enemy team to adapt. It's all about flexibility, and that's something I really appreciate. As someone who's not a pro but still enjoys climbing the ranks, being able to adapt to different strategies is a huge plus. In fact, I think Marvel Rivals rewards versatility. You can jump into different roles, even if you're not the best at them, and still contribute meaningfully to your team. In Overwatch, for example, if you're a top-tier Hanzo player, but you're playing against a team that is just better, it's pretty much game over. In Marvel Rivals, though, the game encourages you to pick up any role and variety of heroes and adapt on the fly. Even if you're not the best, you can still make a difference with your team-ups, which is a huge plus for more casual players like myself. Another feature I really like is the ability to complete missions in co-op modes. This gives players an incentive to try out new heroes they wouldn't normally pick in competitive or quick matches. It's like having a safe space to experiment and get better at heroes you wouldn't normally play. Me personally, I tend to stick to one or two things I'm the best at, be it AK and M4 in CSGO, top or jungle in League of Legends, Reyna or Sova in Valorant, Junkrat or Diva in Overwatch. Even if I'm not great at them, I enjoy the games. But with Marvel Rivals, I've branched out and played nearly every hero in every role. And the fact that I can help my team out with team-up bonuses even if I'm a little underperforming is a huge bonus. One thing I think Marvel Rivals does exceptionally well is its decision to use a third-person perspective, which I think is a huge advantage over the traditional first-person view that many other hero shooters stick with. Third-person allows you to really appreciate the movement and abilities of each character, giving you a better sense of their scale and impact on the battlefield. It's one thing to hear a rocket whiz by or a laser blast whiz overhead in a first-person shooter, but it's another to see it coming from Iron Man or Spider-Man's point of view. The cinematic feel adds a level of immersion that enhances the hero fantasy I mentioned earlier. When you're playing as these iconic Marvel characters, you want to feel like you're in their shoes, not just staring down a gun barrel. In third person, you get a fuller view of the environment too, which gives you a tactical edge. You're more aware of your surroundings, and the map feels less claustrophobic. In games with a first-person view, you often feel like you're limited to just what's in your line of sight, but third person opens up a broader sense of control and positioning. It's not just about shooting, it's about maneuvering, flanking, and using your abilities creatively in a way that feels more natural and rewarding. This third-person perspective is something Marvel Rivals nails, and it really enhances the experience of playing these larger-than-life heroes. So, what really sets Marvel Rivals apart from the competition? Well, it's a combination of things. The gameplay, the design, the hero fantasy, it all comes together to make the game feel fresh and engaging. And let's not forget about their recent update, which released 4 new champions and a new map. Meanwhile, their main competitor, let's just say they've been sent back to the game developer preschool, releasing updates that only add 1 or 2 heroes and a map. Marvel Rivals is moving at a much faster pace, and that's keeping the player base engaged. So, those are just a few of the reasons why I think Marvel Rivals is a standout game in the hero shooter genre. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've had any funny or epic moments in Marvel Rivals, feel free to send them over to me at the email address in the description down below. I'll be doing a monthly compilation of the best clips, and the top video will win a $100 Amazon gift card or in-game currency, so you can pick up some awesome skins or cosmetics for your favorite heroes. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and share it with your friends. It will help me create more videos and maybe give my opinions on other games in the future, such as Diablo or World of Warcraft. Thanks for watching, and as always, Plunkster out.